Good Monday morning, guys. I'm Jerry Miller, and welcome to Real Talk with Keith Smith. Thank you kindly for joining us. Feels like spring in downtown Charlottesville. Our audience, every social platform known to mankind. The content of this show, who really knows? Real Talk with Keith Smith, that's what makes the program dynamic and, frankly, entertaining. Today's program presented by Yes Realty Partners. Visit them online, yesrealtypartners.com. Keith and Yonna shop. Not only is he an award-winning broadcaster, he's an award-winning real estate man as well. Good Monday morning, my friend.
Good morning to you.
I can follow you around if you want me to.
Sure. No, because you and my wife are the most critical, not most critical, you are constructively critical of me.
I feel like I'm not very critical of you.
No, well, you...
Only when you ask.
It's true.
Yeah.
No.
Rare do I volunteer.
Well, to do this publicly to you, thank you for Friday. Friday was an awesome show. Every time I sit across the table for you, I learn something new. And for me to sit down and shut up takes a lot. And I learned a lot in that show. I learned how to be better at sitting at this table. So thank you for
Lloyd Snook and Michael Payne on this past Friday's edition of Real Talk with Keith Smith. One thing Keith Smith is doing quite well on Fridays is he's welcoming candidates in a Coffee with the Candidates, Coffee with the Stakeholders Forum. Friday's show embodied that, Keith Smith.
Uh-oh.
Allergies.
Take a sip.
Oh,
take a sip. I'll pick it up. Up from here. Yeah, it was an awesome show, and we got into a bunch of stuff. There's a ton of questions.
Excuse me.
That
was a great show.
They've agreed to come back because I just don't think an hour and a half or however long it was that we did it was long enough. I will tell you on Friday.
There were times I felt like I was on the dais.
Oh,
it felt like
you.
I felt watching. Like they were on the dais. We were watching.
Oh, yeah.
In like City Hall.
Because there's not that much debate.
I mean, they were just pontificating throughout the entire program, were they not?
Hey, Judah, what does that word mean? Yeah.
I mean, they were...
It's a joke.
How would you have characterized Friday's show? Well, Judah doesn't have the microphone, nor does he have the three... We'll leave it alone.
Should we really?
How many shows? How many shows?
We're like.
I'm picking and choosing my battles.
Yeah. We thank you for correcting my math, by the way. So we are quickly moving into year number 4.
Year 4 of Real Talk with Keith Smith.
Right. So we've got 3 complete years under our belt.
That's
together.
amazing.
I haven't learned stuff on it, but. Jude, there you go, Jude. He's got the microphone. Thanks.
There you go.
Appreciate it.
And the 3-shot.
And the 3-shot going. So, it's interesting. So we're in a new quarter, right? We're back to housing. It's in
Q2.
a new quarter. And
it's very warm outside. There's no doubt spring has sprung, not only from the more warmer weather. We have temperatures in the early 80s in the middle of this week.
Tomorrow.
But anyone who goes outside sees the pollen all over the cars. And if you know anything about allergies, I don't know if you...
So
You're a fortunate individual.
I am not fortunate.
Okay.
I went through years of allergy shots. And I'll tell you what, if anybody... It's a pain in the arm, because that's where they shoot you up.
Yeah.
Right?
Literally and figuratively.
I now shoot myself up in the stomach, but that's a different story.
That's a different story.
We're
talking allergies.
We're talking allergies right now, and at some point we'll talk about real estate. Because
I'm a Claritin a day guy, and still it's rough.
So have you actually gone through and done the blood
I have
work?
not. No.
Go do it.
The allergist?
Yeah, go do it. I did that a decade and a half ago.
Yeah, don't regret it.
And took a bunch of years. Once a week, you had to go get to the docs. They shot you up.
Once a week for how long?
Oh God, it was almost 3 years.
You went to a doctor once a week for 3 years to get a shot?
Yeah.
Wow.
They said they were done, but I think it really because they were tired of me.
Wow. And does it have an immediate impact?
No.
It does not?
No.
Okay.
It takes time, and you need to do that. But I'll tell you what, I was allergic to everything under the sun. Right, I was like you at this time of the year. I couldn't breathe. It was horrible. And I swear.
And then I put contact lenses on. Even worse.
Oh yeah, yeah. I'll tell you. Go ahead and do it. But let's switch back to real estate.
Let's go real estate. Yeah.
So my tiny little brain was all perplexed yesterday.
Oh, you were perplexed.
I was perplexed.
Okay.
What do you think, Jude?
It was perplexed.
Good word. Good
There
word.
you go.
Thanks,
Judah says it's a good word.
Judah is the official word clarifier here.
Judah's a
today.
wordsmith over there. The voice of God.
That he is, for sure. So I have to say this. This is going to be a difficult quarter to produce some reports on.
Ooh. Tell me why.
Tell me why.
Yeah.
Because I think if you go ahead and look at it in their traditional format that maybe Carr would do, as some other folks would do, and you compare it quarter to quarter, like in other words, this past quarter versus quarter 2022, it's going to be some shocking numbers. I think you're going to see some jurisdictions quarter to quarter substantially below sales price over the previous quarter. I think you're going to see, and I spent 6 hours crunching numbers, and I was like, oh, that doesn't feel like what's happening right now, right? So what's going on? So actually, I started with the city of Charlottesville, and 6 hours later, it got down to the point of week over week or month over month, because I think what you're going to see, and it's going to take me a lot longer to do these numbers than I expected, to put up on Real Talk with Keith Smith on it. Now,
.com.
You got me going.
.com. So wait, you're not saying values are dropping. That's not what you're saying. What are you saying?
What I'm saying is one could perceive that if you look at quarter over quarter. And I guess I only got through the city of Charlottesville, right?
So you're saying Q1 2022 versus Q1 2023.
I think you're going to see a drop.
In values. Okay. Folks, listen up here.
So I started looking into
this is a sizzle reel somewhere here, Judah, waiting to happen.
Great.
Mark that down.
Now you just ruined it.
All right, we'll set up the sizzle reel. I put too much pressure on him. When I have to say it's a sizzle reel, it puts too much pressure on him. Here we go. You ready for this?
You should come up with some sort of...
I know. I need a secret code word.
Secret code word.
Yeah. Judah, whenever I like...
So do we need a safe word? Is that what
we need a safe word. Bananas. No, strawberries was for no sneezing.
That's right, and it doesn't work, by the way.
It works sometimes.
It doesn't.
It's mainly to take your mind off sneezing.
It doesn't work.
Strawberries.
It doesn't work.
So this is going to be a sizzle reel.
By the way, I used to be allergic to strawberries, and now I'm not anymore because of the shots.
Oh.
I'm telling you, it's life-changing.
But you went and you got a shot once a week for 3 straight years.
Yeah.
Did you hear what he said? To go to the allergist.
It's called a commitment.
That is a commitment. It's not the shot that's the problem. It's going to the allergist once a week for 3 straight years.
But it is, though, pray tell. That's another P word, by the way. Pray tell. Right? That's another P word? Look at that. We're going to focus on P words today.
You might as well put you in a 3-shot if you're getting jovial, Judah. Whoa. Finish your thought. I mean, you're talking about the allergist. You're talking about all this stuff. Once a week
ADD.
for 3 years?
Yeah, so what happens with the shots, fine sir, they actually give you the allergen.
Okay.
So guess what happens? You have a reaction.
Of course.
And it takes a long time. So the theory or the process behind it is it's kind of like a flu shot, right? They give you a little bit of the flu. Well, they give you your allergen, what you're allergic to. And your body builds up immunity. Immunity? It's only my 3rd coffee. Immunity.
You're 3 in. I'm 2 in over here. All right, here's the piece of... I know. I mean, I got a 40-ounce coffee.
Yeah.
What do you got? That's not from the pie chest anymore, is it?
No.
That's not Lone Light Coffee, is it?
No, they're not. You help
They're
me
not
out.
open
They're
yet.
not open yet on that. No, this is from Jaybird at my office.
Okay.
What were we talking about?
Well, here's the sizzle reel. No pressure. Make this happen. Okay? So year over year, first quarter of 2022 versus first quarter, the one that just transpired.
Okay.
Where are values in Central Virginia real estate?
So one, we don't want people to freak out.
Okay.
Right. But I think what's going to happen when you start looking at certain jurisdictions, right, you're going to see the quarter over quarter lower in dollar value than it was in 2022. So what I'm saying is 2023 first quarter is going to be lower in sales volume and also in sales dollar versus 2022. Now, I went, that's not matching what's on the ground because we're 30%, we're a third higher in sales volume, our little shop, yes, Realty Partners, than we were the same quarter last year. So I started digging in. It took about 6 hours digging into it. And what you're going to see and what skews those numbers is the first January was super low. February was getting a little bit better, and the world just went on fire in March.
You're talking this year.
This year.
Yeah.
So what I'm saying is, don't freak out, because when CAR puts the report out, I think you're going to see substantial quarter-over-quarter decrease in value. But that's not actually what's happening on the ground, because you can't go back that far in today's market any longer. You can't even go back 30 days in today's market. And, you're just going to start seeing, and so what I'm now doing is breaking this down by month, by month, by month, because big picture, I think you're going to see a drop. I don't know if that makes any sense.
Okay, keep this rolling here, Judah, here. So you're telling me the quarter that just went by,
in certain jurisdictions,
January, February,
and I've only been through
March of 2023, the values of our homes are going to be lower when compared to January, February, and March of 2022.
So I'm going to read from some. So
okay,
so everybody knows
that's what you're saying here, right?
Yeah, but let me try to clarify this a little bit. So everybody sees this little book, right?
Please.
So what I do with this book is it's a 3-step process. I write my notes down. I figure this out. I turn it into a spreadsheet. Then I turn it into a slide.
Okay.
So Albemarle County, first quarter, 2023, the median sales price was $502. There's no new construction, right? We always take new construction out. Last quarter was $550. I'm pretty sure that's $45,000 below. But March of this year was up at $545. So that's
still lower.
Over $505? No, it's higher.
Okay, I'm with you. Okay.
It's higher than the quarter number. That's the point I'm trying to get at. Because you take a look at in January, it takes a deep dive in value. March, it starts coming back up. February starts coming back up. March, it starts coming back up even more. You're going to see April, May, and June start doing it. So when you start getting towards the end of the year or 6 months, you're going to start seeing these numbers reverse. But we had a slowdown in December and January because most of these January closings started in December, right? On that end of it. So I know this is confusing, and maybe we probably should wait till we get all the data in.
This is good.
To go ahead and do this. But part of what I want to impart on folks is, I think when you get the car numbers, people are going to go, oh my God. But you got to take a deeper dive into the numbers and deeper dive into what's happening recently. I mean, prime example, Friday I wrote 3 contracts, got them accepted on Friday. Wrote 2 contracts over the weekend. 3 contracts over the weekend. Hopefully we'll get them accepted. So this tempo just exploded in March, which we've been talking about for a while, right? So I think what happened was you had a November, December, January kind of slowdown. The spring started springing somewhere about mid-February. And I sent you an article the good Dr. Lisa Servant put out in Reese Media, who's ultimately saying the same thing I'm saying, but just in much nicer language or smarter language than I can do it. But so I think that's what you're gonna see, folks. I think you're gonna see a negative number quarter over quarter for the most
on values. You're saying values.
I think you're going to see that. I really do. I won't know until I finish it, but don't be surprised if you see certain jurisdictions a negative number, and it's because of the slowdown in December and January impacted the first quarter.
But a slowdown in sales.
No, I think a slowdown in value and sales.
Okay, you're saying in December and January, values diminished.
I don't know, Jerry. I got to do the numbers, but I'm just telling you, taking a quick look at Charlottesville and Albemarle and Fulvana. No, Fulvana actually didn't go down. So that's what I'm saying. Per jurisdiction, we got to be a little careful, and we got to figure out why, and that's what we're going to talk about in future shows. But look, let's face it. When is CAR going to put out its numbers? Probably end of April, the beginning of May, maybe, for the second quarter.
Yeah, it takes forever.
We'll have our numbers out in the next couple of weeks on it. But don't be surprised. And it kind of put me on my heels.
I'm on my heels right now. That's the end of the first sizzle reel right there.
No.
When's the last time we've seen a drop in values year over year?
Yeah, I'd have to go back and look. I'd be shooting from the hip. On that end of it. But look, I'm looking at what just came on the market the last 7 days. 87 came on the market. We're slowly creeping up in inventory, but I got 104 that's in pending. Right? So it's the market.
What do you think about this, Vanessa Parkhill?
Yeah,
Bill McChesney, Kevin Yancey.
I think you're going to see certain jurisdictions with a negative number in the end of the first quarter, and I just think folks shouldn't hit the panic button on that.
What do you think, Carol Thorpe, Katie Pearl, Kevin Higgins?
I think you'll see March recover that strongly.
Brittany Gray, Juan Sarmiento, Ray Cadell, Woody Fincham, Jason Howard. What do you guys think?
Well, Woody would be the guy to know because he sees them.
My boy Dean Russell, Dave Warwick, Brewmaster, Kerry Rock. What do you think?
I am just doing some quick numbers, and maybe I'm wrong, and I'll find out once I spend another ton of hours working on it. But quick analysis.
All right, so here's my perspective, then I'll get to the comments that are coming in here. We got comments from Fluvanna, comments from my neck of the woods in Keswick, Waynesboro, comments right now, and a couple from Richmond. My thoughts first.
Ooh, Richmond.
You mentioned December and January slow. December, January, the sticker shock from escalating mortgage rates was very palpable and tangible. Sure. So that sticker shock in December and January very much slowed the market.
So, but it also, excuse me to interrupt you, it also depends what was on the market at the time, right?
Sure.
So, and that's why, you've got to dig into pages and pages of stuff, because what was on the market in January may not have been the $1 million homes, right? May not have been the high dollar homes, which would then impact the sales value. Now
you have folks in March who've become accustomed to rates and where they're at, and it's not as difficult a pill to swallow. So that has a psychological effect on the market. People jumping in, people making offers, people choosing to list. I think that's a factor. I also think a factor that we're seeing is, and guys, I promise I'm going to get to your...
I think price point of the sale price.
I was just going to say that. Go finish your thought there.
No. I'll let you finish.
No. I'm all over the price point. I want to learn from you here.
I'm looking at Lake Monticello, so I'll let you finish.
I think the price points became a little bit more realistic. I think
you have to look at what was on the market at that point. Mm-hmm. So if the $800,000, the $1 million, the high-end seller, right, didn't put their home on the market in December and January, then that would impact the numbers in the first quarter.
For sure.
Is that making sense? Right.
Yeah.
And now you might be seeing, because I've got, of course I got to dig more into this, you might be seeing more of the higher end homes hitting the market in January, February, which is impacting March's particular numbers. Does that make sense?
Oh, it makes perfect sense. He's basically saying if folks that were in the luxury category, folks that are, say, 800, 900, jumbo category, $1 million plus, were choosing to put their homes on the market come January, February, these homes aren't closing until March. And those higher price points are going to impact the median, is what you're talking about.
That's exactly right, because these are all median numbers I look at.
Carly Wagner brings this up. This show is streaming all over social media, including 15 Facebook pages. On one of the Facebook pages, Carly Wagner says, "Are you speaking median sales price, though?"
Yes, that's exactly
right.
He is. That's right. We always use median, because if you look at the average number, it's much higher than it is.
And she says literally what you said. Mathematically, that does not necessarily mean a $200,000 home last year is now worth less this year. Perhaps it means there's less $1 million home sales, fewer high-value sales, but more count lower-value home sales. That's exactly what you're saying.
That's exactly right, because if you go back and look at the average numbers, it's actually higher.
Yeah.
Right. And I'm not sure what Carr uses. Probably they use the average. We like to use median on the show because it drops the high and the low out. To me, it's a better barometer of the market.
So she's saying what you're saying here.
Yeah. So when I'm comparing my numbers in my 12, 15 pages of notes I wrote here from yesterday. These are all median numbers. But, look to, hang on a second here because I can go back and flick through some of my notes here. I'll let you talk for a second, fine, sir.
Kevin Yancey, I'm going to get to this comment here.
Hey, Kevin.
Of
Stay
Waynesboro.
safe on the road, man.
He's got a comment about, is this the correction? And I don't think he's going to say that. I'm going to get to this comment before.
I don't think it is.
I don't think this is a correction here.
The average question is very smart. So, again, these are written in Keith speak, so for me to follow through it and go through it may be a little bit confusing. But what I want to do is, while we're sitting here talking, is do a quick Lake Monticello quarter over quarter. And we'll talk about that average versus median, because in Lake Monticello, there's generally not many sales over the high dollar number. So while you're doing that, I will go ahead and chat for a little bit, and I will go ahead and do this very quickly.
We'll put comments live in the comments boxes. Anywhere you're watching, I'll relay them live on air. We're talking market conditions. That car report will generate headlines locally.
It will. So
and
it
people
depends,
read
though,
headlines.
But if they use average, what I just talked about probably won't happen. This blow up won't happen. So I mean, just to do Lake Monticello first quarter, there was. Let me double check, make sure I got this right. Just bear with me for a second.
What are you building up?
I'm doing this live here. So first quarter there was 35 sales. Median sales price was $325.
This is this year.
This is this quarter.
$325. Okay.
I'm sorry. Apologize. $335.
Okay.
The average though was $398. So that's to who was the person?
Carly.
So that's to
Carly
her,
Wagner.
To her explanation. That's what it is. So let's just take a quick.
She's a milestone follower. She just earned a badge right now as a milestone follower.
Oh, she's awesome.
Yeah. Well done, Carly.
Is that related to the Wagners of Flavanna Wagners?
I don't know.
We just asked the question.
Carly Wagner, what's your tie to the area? It was a great comment. We would love to hear your
Well, if
your
they're
ties.
tied to it, Wagners used to own a great. Yeah. So here's quick numbers. This is what I'm talking about. It depends on jurisdiction to jurisdiction. Lake Monticello, the end of the first quarter, and I haven't a chance to do the percentages, but the end of the first quarter, the median sales price was $335. Average was $398. Same quarter last year was $305. So Lake Monticello went up $30,000 in the median. It went up. I can't do the math in my head. It went from $398 to $336. Somebody who's smarter than me can go ahead and figure that out on that end of it. But so now we're going to look at Lake Monticello, and Lake Monticello is going to be higher. But my Charlottesville and Albemarle numbers were a little bit lower. So why is that? I think it's the price point, right? Lake Monticello's the price point, but what do we got down? 12 homes for sale or something like that?
And in this particular circumstance, Lake Monticello may not be the best neighborhood for it because
you're talking about as a matrix. And
here's why I'm throwing it to you, because Lake Monticello still has that entry price point, which is very appealing to people, and you would expect in a tight inventory market that anything listed at that entry price point is going to go up.
So I would disagree with you.
Okay, please.
And the reason I disagree with you, and the reason I like using it a lot, not that it's my back door.
You're going to say it's a spectrum of price points, and it's not just entry anymore. That's what you're going to say.
Yes and maybe no yes.
Okay.
It's more consistent value, right? So Albemarle County single-family detached ranges everything from multi-million-dollar units to $300,000-400,000. Lake Monticello, for the most part,
that's fair,
has been a consistent value.
That's fair.
We just recently had a 1.1 something like that.
Lakefront.
Yeah.
Million plus at Lake Monticello on the lake.
Yeah. So it's the reason I use that. It's more consistent. So
see, that's what I think too, Carly. Carly makes the point that I was trying to make here and she's her surname is her father-in-law's, and it's from Mount Airy, Maryland.
Got it.
Okay. Where are you watching locally, Carly? You don't have to tell us the exact street or anything like that, but which county or which area locally? And she says with higher interest rates, more buyers are steered toward a lower price point. So markets like the Lake benefit from more buyers. That's what I think. Tight inventory market, escalating prices, more people going to the Lake because it's affordable.
Maybe yes, maybe no yes, because the
Earlysville for her. Go ahead.
Because the lower priced, the buyer that can afford that may not have the ability to pay that monthly payment at that 7%, where the upper numbers are doing. I'm telling you, interest rates have nothing to do with this. I think this has everything to do with people's comfort level of putting homes on the market. And we talked about this way back in November and December, and I can pull up the picture of what the inventory was in November and December. My suspicion is it's half of what it is now, right? So people were not putting homes on the market. Maybe they were not putting the higher end homes on the market. It's really hard to tell live without digging into the data. But what my point I'm making here is some jurisdictions are going to be, I think, in the negative value range, quarter over quarter, and some are going to be awesome. I bet you if we take a hard look at Greene County, I think you're going to see Fluvanna, Greene, Nelson, and Louisa. Definitively, Fluvanna and Greene have price increases, value increases, quarter over quarter. Some of the other jurisdictions, maybe not. And the why is what we're here to talk about for an hour and a half for the next few days and weeks and months and years, because you're going to have to drag me out of here, Jerry.
Oh, I won't do that. We love having you here. Well, so how does...
unless I'm like that lady the woman that passed out on the desk.
Oh, I saw that.
Yeah, that was
on the anchor desk. Her forehead hit the desk.
I actually watched.
It's a viral clip going on. It's a newscaster. She fainted. I don't know what it was. I hope it was nothing worse than fainting. Literally, live TV bounced her head off the desk.
And I'm waiting for that to happen to me one day.
Come on. The market's on fire.
Cart me out.
You know, all price points of the market on fire.
There is a home in Earlysville. We put a contract in yesterday on. Emily and I are working together on it. Emily Funk and I are working.
Where about?
Vance Mills Road.
Okay.
Right on the road.
Okay.
Multiple offers within 24 hours.
My neck of the woods in Keswick, you got homes 800 to $1.2 million going under contract a day, 2 days. To put it in perspective, Ednam Forest. I was talking with an agent out of Loring Woodruff shop. She had a listing at her colleague in Ednam Forest. You're talking an open house bonanza.
Oh, yeah.
Under contract in a day and a half at a 1.7 price point, 1.699.
So at some point, we're going to
every price point here.
We're going to talk about how we can help out home inspections, because that's what's happening now. They're getting waived and all this stuff. And by the way, our clients that we're working on are all cash offers on the buyer side, which is you're starting to see that happen. Same kind of scenario. Sold their houses in Northern Virginia, Northeast, got a bunch of cash. They're doing it. It impacts the first-time home buyer big time. And if somebody takes the time to Google National Association of Realtors 2023 generational report, they'll start seeing the boomer is for the first time in years
superseded the millennial.
Thank you.
As the number one home buying demo.
Thank you.
We knew that was going to happen. The boomers got the stack of cash. And the limited inventory, the bag of money is going to talk. And if you don't have the bag of money, you're going to walk. And that's what's happening now with millennials and Gen Zers. They're walking.
Well, the Gen Zers actually increased a little bit. But
what's the percentage of the buyer base for the Gen Zer?
Very small.
Single digits.
Yeah, I would say single digits. Because of the age, right? You normally don't get into this buying mode until you're in your 30s, that kind of thing. So,
Carly says, Keith is right about who is willing to sell. I only owe $500,000 or so on my home, but I could sell my house for $900,000 to a low million range right now. But because of interest rates, where would we go without paying more each month? Literally similar boat to me here.
And it depends on, sometimes a life change happens, right? God forbid, whatever, right? And happens to do that. Or in my case, the house that we were talking about in my neighborhood went under contract for $700,000, right? That's 200
Lake
grand.
Monticello.
Yeah.
3 doors down from you.
At the Acres.
Yeah.
So we are now actively pursuing putting an apartment in our basement because that home had that. Because my mother and father are at the point that this is going to probably
How much
happen.
is that going to cost you? What are we talking, 100?
Oh, 150 easy.
For a basement apartment?
Yeah, easy.
Is that an official ADU?
Can't do them at Lake Monticello.
Okay.
Can do a mother-daughter.
Okay.
Can't do an ADU. Can't bring somebody in Lake Monticello that is
Not kin.
Not kin to you.
Okay. So your parents...
That doesn't mean it's not done. I'm just saying you know,
Technically, it's against the HOA.
It's against the HOA rules. You can't bring somebody, you can't rent out an auxiliary dwelling unit or an apartment in your home to somebody that is not related to you. And my parents are related to me.
Oh, yeah. I'd say they're related to you.
I have to tell you, while we're on that thing, when we get together on our family Sunday meals and holiday meals, we usually start off with a prayer, and then I generally, at some point, because everybody knows it's coming, and I would go, "Dear God, please tell me I'm adopted." But
Carly, what line of work are you in? Out of curiosity.
She's smart. Pretty smart.
You should. I mean, more comments that she's leaving that I haven't put on the haven't read yet. What kind of work are you in, Carly? Just out of curiosity, if you could let us know. I thought your comments were very much on point here. Carol Thorpe, hello.
Hey, Carol, how are you?
MJ Arquette, hello. Welcome to the program. You got the Queen of Jack Jewett and the Queen of Marketing watching the program as we speak right now. How do you think S. Lisa Herndon and Carr are going to handle? And
I'm disconnected from the board and all that stuff now. They're going to do...
I would think there would be a statement that would accompany a headline like that.
Well, it depends on what they use. So and I apologize, I did not write the name. Who was the viewer that was talking about median versus average?
Carly Wagner.
Yeah, Carly. Yeah. So Carly's right. If they end up using the average numbers, I think you will not see such a negative impact on that end of it. But while you're chatting, I'm going to go ahead and do Greene County because now I'm just wondering how Greene County's doing.
Guys, comments, put them in the feed.
Please.
The show is archived at realtalkwithkeithsmith.com, and it's presented today by Yes Realty Partners, yesrealtypartners.com. Carly says, my main career for 15 plus years is forensics, consulting, structural engineering.
Ooh.
Katie Pearl recently persuaded me to get my realtor's license so I could do that on the side.
Ooh.
KTP, who's also watching this program right now.
Structural engineer,
Keller Williams' finest, KTP. She influences Carly to get her license, but her main career is forensic consulting, structural engineering.
So is the forensic consulting related to the building structuring, or is that a whole separate, like forensic, like CIS kind of CIS kind of thing?
The word forensics gets you intrigued.
I was excited about that. I was excited about that.
Let us know some insight. We're genuinely curious here. What are you extrapolating, Greene County numbers?
I am extrapolating Greene County's numbers right now.
What's your prediction on where Greene County is going to go?
It's going to stay where it is. It's kind of north of it.
I'm talking price points. Keith's got the dad jokes. We grow to appreciate that.
That's not a dad joke.
That's a dad joke.
That's not a dad joke.
You don't think that's a dad joke?
Greene County's 29 north.
Was that a dad joke, Judah?
The man of many words.
I know. There you go.
Does he know this is a talk show?
He does.
Have you ever told him that?
I've reminded him from time to time. I've reminded him. Judah Woodcower is our enterprising director. He keeps us online. All-around great guy who's becoming a fantastic broadcaster himself. He's rocking a sweater today. You will see that around lunchtime, maybe later today on Real Talk with Keith Smith.
So, again, this is not scientific. We have not did a great deep dive into it. But Greene County...
He literally did it in the last 45 seconds here.
This
is back of the napkin, almost literally. And Katie says she loves when you dig into Greene County numbers. It's such a great community and should be highlighted more on the show.
Thank you, Katie. Well, then come on in and talk to us about it.
Oh, yeah. I love when KTP comes in.
She's always got it
KTP always has something good to say, and oftentimes she comes bringing delicious food from Guajiros.
Well, I think what we're going to do with Katie, next time my youngest granddaughter...
She's Cubana.
I know.
She likes guajiros. I like guajiros.
She likes food.
Yeah, so who doesn't? I love food.
I'm a foodie.
Yeah.
But the next time Katie, my little granddaughter, or one of my little grandchildren, particularly my little granddaughter, is in, I'll bring her and you bring one of your youngest.
Talk shows are hard when there's children around.
No,
I'm
it's
just
not.
giving you a heads up.
Who was the guy that said
this is generally how Keith and I's professional relationship goes. And he's my boy. He's inner circle. He's.
But
my
I won't
friend.
listen to you.
Keith constantly is looking to push the limits in every regard.
Yeah.
Every regard, he's looking to push the limits.
You've been talking to Yonna.
I push the limits as well, but I try to do it within a framework that is still going to.
So you're saying no little people? I mean, come on now.
We can do little people. I'm just saying they're unpredictable. And this is a talk show.
My granddaughter was perfect. I don't know what you're talking about.
She was perfect. She was
so
absolutely
Greene County.
perfect.
Back to Greene County. We're done with this. So ground to Greene County.
Carly says this is a Katie Pearl fandom episode. So Carly's offering comments on one page while Katie's watching on another. And they're interacting with each other, with what we say on the show.
Oh. Guess we better behave then.
Go ahead, Greene County.
Remember, little ears. I think it was Katie that reminded us of little ears.
Katie.
Little ears. So Greene County, 2023. Again, this is all single-family detached, no new construction. I'll repeat that: single-family detached, no new construction. The median sales price for this quarter was $387. Same scenario, SFD, single-family detached, no new construction, 2022 was $332. So it actually grew. But it's interesting, ladies, the average numbers are very skewing. So the average in the 23 was 403, but last year it was 368. So that means there was probably this year a couple more higher-end stuff sold. This is the reason why I prefer to use median. It's really kicks out the high and low, and I learned this from the good Dr. Lisa Sturvant because she gave me a class on this. And she said, you should not do that. I believe there was hand slapping involved in it. And
she needs to come back on the show.
That's not going to happen. She is...
The economist of Bright, right?
Yeah, and Bright is the only MLS in the country that has a full-time economist in it. The stuff that she puts out is pretty awesome on that end of it. So here's an example. Median is going to be up versus that. But Charlottesville, so this is why I've got a couple more days of digging into this on top of trying to help people buy and sell houses, because I actually do that for a living.
And you're good at it.
Thank you for that. Was three throwing a bone to you to throw a bone back at me.
He's a realtor.
I'm a realtor.
Bob Slentz, hello.
Hey, Bob. Oh, Bob. Wow. Good. Thanks for chiming in, buddy. He's in Ohio, I think, if I remember correctly. So, that's what I meant by you're going to see certain jurisdictions, I think, a little lower, certain jurisdictions a little bit higher. The ones that are a little bit lower is going to require much more digging in. Why was it lower, right? And was this an impact of a couple of months on the first month, or if this was an impact at a certain price point, people just timed out? That's a strong possibility. And now they're back into the market. That's why you're seeing a jump in March numbers on that end of it. So this next year is not going to be the normal number crunching year that one does. And that's the point I'm trying to make. I thought, hey, I woke up in the morning, Yonna was sleeping, I had a cup of coffee, let me play with some numbers, get ready for the show. Hold on a second, I didn't shut my hearing aids off. To go ahead, so those who know, my hearing aids are connected to my phone, so somebody's trying to call me.
Robert Crockle, does Keith think that inventory is going to start to pick up now?
It is picking up now.
Thank you, Robert, for the question.
Robert, thanks. So it is picking up now. So hold on a second here, because, Jerry Miller makes Keith better every show.
He's got screenshots on his phone.
So where do you want? Pick a Monday. Pick a month and pick a Monday.
Just now versus...
Let's say a month ago?
Sure.
Okay. Let's see what we got here.
We've uptick.
So February 27th, I just arbitrarily picked it, was 52 homes came on the market. Today, again, I look at These are everything. Ooh, that's good English. Let me try this again. This is all the 6 jurisdictions and everything. So this is, new construction, single family, attached. This is just everything. We're at 87. Pretty sure that's an uptick. So we're seeing an uptick. Interesting. We're having an uptick in going under contract. So on February 27th, which have been 7 days backwards, there were 77 that went pending, went under contract. We're now at 104. Actually, it was 103, now it went to 104 as we were sitting here to go ahead and do that. So that is not quite a month ago, right? February 27th to, no, I'm sorry, that's over a month, me and my math. That's over a month and a few weeks ago. So the answer is yes, inventory is picking up.
That's good.
Yeah, that's what we wanted to do.
Yeah.
I think the spring market sprung. I will tell you, there's certain buyers that decided to take a 2-week timeout around spring break and Easter. I think when Easter's over, these things are just gonna continue to explode on that end of it. So the time to really, I guess what I'm getting at in the city of Charlottesville now, time to buy a house would have been in January. The prices are now going up.
This question's come in. Can Keith offer an update on how his daughter's house shopping is going?
So that whole 2-week update thing?
That was them?
That's what it was. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, it's worse. There's the inventory. So I think one or two things are going on here. Either Richmond's inventory is like done because the neighborhoods we're looking at, there's nothing new that's come on in the last week. Whereas for a month and a half before that, every Wednesday, Thursday, a dozen or so homes would come on, and we would be talking about what we're seeing, what we're not seeing. Nothing came up this last week. Nothing's come up so far going for this week.
You guys are getting close to crunch time here.
Yeah, well, there's an apartment I guess I'm building
in
the basement.
Still family. Still counts.
Yeah.
They're related.
No, God, can you imagine?
What?
We'd end up with them upstairs and my parents downstairs.
That'd be great. Sounds like a movie.
How much room you got in your house?
We're full. We're full. No room at the inn.
So much for being a buddy.
I got a 4-month-old. You don't want to come to our house.
Sure,
we got
I
a
do.
4-month-old.
Sure, I do. I've got special grandpa skills.
4-month-old. Our little boy, along with allergy season, he is back to sleeping 90 minutes to 2-hour cracks. We had what's the word she uses? A sleep regression.
The boss.
It's like a technical, my boss. Yeah. Sleep regression. We're going through a sleep regression right now.
Yeah.
So now we're back to the 90-minute, 2-hour sleep spurts. Where before he was going like 11 to 5.
And how old is he now?
4 months.
Yeah.
It was legit. The 2-hour sleep spurts are bueno.
I think it's tied to growth spurts too. What do I know?
Who knows?
All you know is you're not getting it.
That's all I know. Back to the 2-hour sleep spurts. I thought we were out of it.
Yeah, well, I said this on the show a couple of times before. I think nature or God played a little tricks on everybody. So at the age of 60-something, if I could sleep...
Once a man, twice a child. That's what they say. Once a man, twice a child.
Well, I'm referring to sleep cycle.
Oh, I know. You're getting up every 2 hours, aren't you?
I am.
That's what they say. Once a man, twice a child.
Yeah, and at a certain age, it's a couple hours to go use the little facilities and go back to bed. So I could be taking care of kids in the middle of the night.
Yeah, but are you?
No.
Okay, exactly.
I let the cat out. Does that count?
Because you had your granddaughter staying with you for a little while.
We did, and absolutely had nothing to do with it.
That's what I'm saying over there.
Of course not. Yeah, I also am not physically equipped.
There's bottles.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. Actually, I did that when the ladies. I am a pretty awesome grandfather.
I'm not doubting you. I'm sure you are.
When Yonna I'll get into trouble. I actually had to teach Yonna how to take care of her baby because she's never been around them.
Oh, okay.
My whole life, I was around little people.
Okay. Yes, because you were the oldest.
I was the oldest. I knew how to take care of. I was the oldest of 5. It was Keith, take care of my little brother Matthew, whatever it was.
Yeah.
Change the diaper, do this, feed him, all this kind of great stuff because that's what you did. You helped your mom through it. You know, of course, at 14, 15, 16, I was, "Ooh."
Yeah, right. You didn't want to do it.
But
I mean, do you want to do it right now either?
I love it. I loved it. Okay. Now, I'm not doing it every day.
Right.
Excuse me, Yvonne. That's
his daughter.
And Yvonne and Yonna, that's my wife.
Yes, we know that.
Ran the 10-miler, and I took care of little Ravenna for the whole race. And
they left you alone with her?
Yeah.
Wow. Wow.
I'm pretty awesome at this.
I'm not just joking. I know you are.
Yeah, I am. So, you know, I got her all done. She needed to change the diaper, needed to feed her a little bit. We went out for a cup of coffee, hung out with people at the coffee shop, and Good and God, and yada yada yada.
Which coffee shop?
I went to the office at Jaybird, and because I met them at the 5-mile and the 7-mile mark, which is over at the Pavilion.
Okay.
So it was raining. I had the stroller, put her up in the thing, had it all going, had my coffee in.
You get a home run.
And went and saw them at the 5 and the 7, and went back, put her in the vehicle, went back to the finish line, saw her, took them out for breakfast. You know, it's all kinds of awesome.
Steven Jackson says, this is when the show is at its best, when you guys are riffing off the cuff about what's happening in life and around town. I listen for the real estate, but I stay for the rift.
Thank you. Thank
you. That was so nice. You hear that? I listen for the real estate, but I stay for the rift.
We should put that as a logo.
That's legit.
I write that down.
I listen for the real estate, but I stay for the rift.
No, we should twist it around a little bit. Join for the real estate, but stay for the rift.
I listen for the real estate.
But put that on there. That should be flashing.
I stay for the rift. Thank you.
By the way, guys, do me a personal huge favor. In Real Talk with Keith Smith, pull down the Partners tab. You know, we would not be here
100%
doing this without our partners. We just physically couldn't do it. So please help them out. Please use them. They're wonderful folks. Everybody in the food chain of real estate's there. So pull the tab down and help some local folks.
RealTalkWithKeithSmith.com. Presenting partner, Intrastate Service Company.
So what should we riff about
now?
A
home's best friend. The Richmond market concerns me because there's considerably more homes in Richmond. Now, granted, there's considerably more people. Is it just the fact that your daughter and her family are razor focused on certain neighborhoods? That's what it is?
Yeah. So which one is that of the 6?
I mean, I would say it would
which
be
one of that is
the
the
location.
6?
Yeah, the West End is fairly coveted.
Yeah, it's very
especially within walking distance of stuff, and that's what your daughter said.
Very coveted. We're up to, I can't remember how many deals we've lost.
What's a rough estimate?
No, roughly 8 or 9.
That's a fair amount.
We're approaching 10.
Yeah.
Every real estate agent that I've spoken to, of the ones that we've lost, super professional, awesome real estate agents that share information, which is great. They said, look, until you get to 15 or 20, that's how many it's going to take.
Really?
Yeah.
That is demoralizing.
Yeah. Well,
15 or 20 losses?
Yeah.
You're talking striking out 15 or 20 times before you get your house.
What did Michael Jordan say?
Well, no, I get it.
But this is
That's just the psychology aspect of what you do.
Oh, very much so.
Yeah.
Very much so.
Because you're in this circumstance pretty much a coach.
We
keeping the pep up.
We often refer to ourselves as therapists.
Real
estate therapists.
Right.
That's the reason why we go to therapy, because we need help. Don't laugh. We do.
I know.
Well, Yonna and I work together so often.
Dude, trust me.
Yeah. And sometimes we forget how to talk to one another.
You guys work together. You guys are married. I mean, I totally get it.
Yeah.
And we very much want to destigmatize therapy on this program. We're all about it.
And I may be a bit stubborn, so.
You're extremely stubborn.
I may be a little
You're
stubborn.
Extremely stubborn.
Well, there's no sense being Irish if you're not stubborn.
But my wife's Irish, I can tell you.
No, stop.
Okay,
Stop.
She's watching right now.
Stop.
She's Irish.
Stop.
I love you, sweetheart.
And Cubans aren't
I mean, there's eventually you're like, okay, I'm just gonna.
Oh, your poor kids! I just realized that.
Poor kids, poor parents.
Hell,
poor
come on
kids.
Now. Half Cuban, half Irish.
Have you met my oldest son? You've met my oldest son. Oh my gosh, he pushes the limits.
Like 5
you know the
now?
best parenting advice I ever got? 2 pieces of parenting advice. The best thing I ever got. First piece was this. Cavemen and women and crackheads have successfully raised children. And Jerry, you and your wife are neither. You're going to be A-okay. The second one.
Say that again slowly.
Cavemen and women and crackheads have successfully raised children. And Jerry, you and your wife are neither of those. You're going to be A-okay. And then he walked away.
I don't know.
Then he walked away. Connecticut Dave told me that. The second one piece of advice was this.
A northerner would say that.
The second piece of advice was parenthood. The best, hardest thing ever, and the longest, shortest thing ever.
Yeah, you might fit the caveman category a little bit.
That was Connecticut Dave Henry who told me that. He's a parent of 2.
That's a Northeast kind of thing. Yeah, it's kind of like somebody asked me the best advice for marriage, right? And how we're approaching year 37, which, by the way, after the show, I have to talk to you about our travel calendar.
Okay. Sounds like you're taking some breaks here.
We're taking some time off, Mr. and Mrs. Smith, to go and recharge it's business and stuff like that, but we'll talk later. Marry or be with or partner, whatever term you wish to use, someone who makes you a better person every day.
Yeah,
That's
no
it.
doubt.
Because everything else goes away.
Sure.
Right? And whoever makes you a better human every day is really the secret to it. And as far as kids go, for a while there, actually it wasn't too long ago, I had a conversation with both girls. So, they're adults now, right? They're 30 or 29 and 37 or 36 or however old they are. And I said, look, what did we do wrong? What's one thing that Mom and I did that kind of sticks with you now that we probably shouldn't have done or could have done better.
Okay.
Right? And at the end of the day, they don't remember any of that stuff. Mostly they bust my chops about I would leave them at daycare longer than what they're supposed to be because I'd be having this phone stuck in my ear working and then go, oh, I got to pick up my kid and show up a couple minutes late.
You are routinely tardy. Is that the one thing they brought up?
They tardy. That's a strong word. Tardy's a strong word.
That's the truth.
That's a strong word. I don't like that word. I am routinely behind because we're
pushing the limits because you're closing deals.
You're constantly on the phone. We're always helping people.
Yeah.
And today I showed up a little not late, but I showed up on time.
No, you were closing deals. You were on time.
But I was on the phone making a deal.
Yeah, you were on time.
And needed to do that.
Yeah.
But yeah, so
I totally get that. And your daughters know that. That is the life of a real estate agent parent.
But they actually talked about the opposite stuff.
Okay.
About how we taught work ethic.
Yeah.
Right? How we taught to take care of people. Right? And something that was important to us, we always traveled with them, which you don't care for, but we always traveled with them to different countries and different areas so that they could learn that, just different cultures. That it was very important to us. That's what we did. So those things kind of stuck to them and made them who they are. So the stuff that you think is like, oh my God, am I screwing my kid up? To your crackhead statement, which I really I just can't believe that came out of your mouth.
Connecticut Dave told me that. I thought it was a great piece of advice.
Yeah, we're going to make a new rule on this.
No, it was
no reference to crackheads.
It was a great piece of advice. It was motivating.
So real estate. We're supposed to talk about real estate. We've been talking about families.
All right, how about this question that's come in? What's the take on mortgage rates dropping 3 straight weeks?
Yeah, so that's probably what this boost is a little bit about, right? I think you're seeing your boost, and I think Scott's calling it, and we'll find out on Wednesday.
On Wednesday, Scott Morris, Ross Mortgage.
But look, I think you're starting to see that. I think you're starting to see the growth of people putting homes in the market. Could be quote unquote the spring market. I honestly think. Personally, I think we need to stop calling seasonal markets, right? I think that whole thing has been out the window
that's gone.
For years. But quote unquote, the traditional spring market is about ready to happen, right? Somewhere about beginning of April, mid-April, somewhere around those lines. I think the famous prognosticators, another P word. Did I do good? Thank you. I got it. I'm up.
I wish we had caught that on camera. That was hilarious.
His freaking eyebrows went boom.
That was great. I wish we had caught that on camera. Can we put you on camera laughing? You have a jolly, jovial, contagious laugh over there.
Sorry.
Judah Wickhauer was very pleased with what was the word, Keith Smith?
I can't.
Can you get it?
I could not.
I knew.
I will not be able to do that a second time.
No, I know you can do it. There's no way he was going to get that a second time.
Prognosticator.
Right. Okay, there we go. Props.
That's a good one.
That is a good one.
Oh, 11:15, show's over.
That's good. Go out on a high note. Costanza.
It is. I'm out.
Costanza,
I'm
you're
out.
out.
High note.
Like at the Steinbrenner episode when Costanza's in the board meeting.
What were we talking about?
Bill McChesney says, W.C. Fields quote, never work with animals or children.
That's it. That's the quote I was thinking. I couldn't put it together. He's 100% right.
Never work with animals or children.
Or
W.C.
Smith.
Fields.
Or Smith.
No, you can work with Smith. You can work with Smith.
In this environment, anyway.
This environment is tailor-made for you.
So let's talk about, we got anything on the feed? Any real estate?
We do, but finish your thought here. I'm trying to keep
I lost.
I know, you got it. Let's talk about
I want to talk about, after we see what the viewers and listeners want to do. I was thinking a little bit yesterday in between my head exploding on numbers. How can we help buyers win since we're seeing routinely, and whatever real estate agents are watching, Katie and so forth, are you starting to see the creep back up of waiving of home inspections? I know we are. So I want to talk a little bit about that here in a minute, maybe a little house hack or a little bit of buyer hack that we can maybe help. We're not going to guarantee anything, but I think it'll be a helpful thing. But do we have anything on the feed?
We do. This question's come in, Grayson, good one and very timely. Keith talks about waiving the home inspections.
Oh, look at that.
But they also talk about going through homes with inspectors just for their own value or information. Really, in the end, what's the difference?
Try that question one more time.
Let me see if I can paraphrase for him. You guys talk about home inspections being waived, but then you also talk about hiring a home inspector and having them walk through the property for your own value or information. He wants to know really what the difference is, and frankly, it's just for negotiation purposes. That's the difference. One scenario is you're just doing it for your own intel. The other one is to leverage for the negotiation. That's what the answer is.
Hey, Judah, here comes the sizzle reel.
Yeah. Johnny Ornalis, good morning from Montreal.
So Johnny, I want to before we get into this, I want to give a shout out to Johnny. Johnny
owns Guadalajara.
Owns El Mariachi. But he just spent
in Montreal.
Well, he actually spent a few days in Ottawa. And Ottawa was my last embassy I was at. That was my decompression tour, which turned out not to be such that because Reagan at the time was bombing the Libyans, and there's a huge Libyan population in there. And anyway, it was a little busy work-wise for what we were doing. But I was married there. My oldest daughter was born there, so we spent about 9 months, just enough time to make a baby and produce a baby in Ottawa, Canada. In there, so it was pretty cool to see him in there. That was in 1986. Wow, I'm old. So
Johnny living the dream right now.
Yeah, and Montreal's a great city.
Well earned, Johnny.
Yeah,
well
enjoy it. Montreal's a great city. It's interesting thing about that city is, so I was there when it was winter, which is 9 months. You can actually go from one end of the city to the other end of the city and never go above ground.
Yeah.
Because between the metro and then they have these underground malls that interconnect each other, it's a pretty cool city.
Also, very expensive city.
Yeah,
Montreal.
That's Canada.
Very expensive.
Most things in Canada are a little expensive. So back to the home inspection.
Yeah, get ready, Judah.
Get ready, Judah.
No pressure, Keith.
No, I just screwed it up.
Come on.
No, stop it. So I think the question is, why does waiving home inspections matter? Is that the question?
No. His question is, you guys talk about a market where home inspections are being waived.
Got it.
But you also talk at the same time of hiring a home inspector and having them walk through the property for informational purposes.
Got it.
He says, what's the difference? You're still paying out of pocket. And I responded, in one scenario, you're using the home inspection to help negotiate. In the other scenario, you're just basically getting a binder of information on the house.
Correct. Well, it's not necessarily. Let's parse this a little bit. The home inspection process is not supposed to be used for negotiating process. There is a negotiation part in it, but the intent of it is to find out if there's some material defects wrong with the home. That's
right. And
that's
if there are,
then you get to negotiate, depending on how it works.
Right.
So what's happening now is you're seeing all kinds of variations of this, which is a bit goofy. You're seeing variations from flat out, I'm not getting a home inspection, to you're seeing variations of for informational purposes only. And frankly, what the hell does that actually mean? Mm-hmm. Right? And we're going to clarify that here in a minute. Or pass or fail. So for informational purposes only, you would have to not attach a home inspection addendum to it. The big key about the addendum is you get the right to get out of the deal if you see something you don't like. So it's typically should be pass or fail. What I wanted to talk a little bit about was if somebody is doing a pass or fail, informational purposes only, or not doing a traditional home inspection, bringing an inspector on ahead of it, at least for a 1 hour walk through it for $350 with Alex Rayfield, you'll get a pretty good picture of what's wrong or what potentially could be wrong with the home. You don't get to negotiate it, so if it's something that multiple offers on it and you're going to waive it, it's just a good safety thing. The other thing is, what I'm holding in my hot little hands here is a 210 warranty. So Yonna and I, for any first-time home buyer, always buy this for them. And you can Google it and you can look it up what it is. So what's the beautiful thing about this is for 1 year after you move in, if your HVAC system dies on you, you pay a fee, they service it. If it needs to be replaced, they get replacement on it. And you got everything from let me go through here, thermostats, the refrigerator.
Very inclusive.
Yeah, so I have it on, Yonna and I have it on our house. We've always had it on our house. And if my refrigerator goes, I pay $89. They either fix it. If not, I get a new refrigerator. So we do that to help people. So there's everything from electrical and plumbing and so forth and so on. And so it's a great safety net. It's not going to catch everything. So you do a walkthrough with Alex Rayfield, who happens to be a structural engineer. So if there's anything structural, we're going to know it within an hour, walking through it. Assuming it passes that, looks like we're good. You buy this, it's $770 for a year. Yonna and I buy this for our first-time home buyers. So they know.
That costs $770 a year?
$770 a year. Mm-hmm. So they pay an $89 service fee. And they come out
per issue.
Per issue. So the trick is if your washer and dryer go together, that's $189 for two. If your washer and dryer, so you kind of wait a little bit and get some together. But it does everything from hot water heaters, window, refrigerant. It's just a whole list of, a bunch of items that you can go ahead and do it. So this is a bit of a hack, right? So if you're in a situation like that, having this Alex come in, it's $350. This is the love house. This is the house I want to make my play for. It's worth the $350 on it. We'll buy you this. If you get the deal, at least you're covered to a certain extent. We always suggest you continue along with that. And it has they come in and service your units twice a year, your HVAC units. It's a great house hack.
He also says this. He says, try finding a home inspector right now. If you want to talk show topic, there seems to be a significant shortage of inspectors locally.
Yeah, so we're going to.
Is that true?
It is true. We're going to ask Alex to come in. The state upped its requirement for it, which is a good thing, but it's hard. The average age, I think, of an inspector is in the 50s somewhere along those lines. You're 100% right. And
he's right.
He's 100%
massive
right.
shortage.
He's 100% right. So we wrote a deal. We made an offer, Emily and I, on Friday. So before I made the offer, I texted Alex and said, okay, Alex, we're making an offer. I'm putting a 15-day home inspection in it because we're not going to do one without this particular property because it needs one, in my opinion. So we've tentatively blocked out some schedules with him. So it just requires a matter of forward thinking and understanding. And I'm just brushing off my old contractor scheduling skills and tentatively plugging something in there. If we get it ratified, because we're multiple offers right now, if we get it ratified, then we've got to hold for him to come in. To his point, if we're looking at houses on Saturday or Sunday, finding somebody, you need to have a trusted advisor in your back pocket.
This comment, Carr lost an appraiser last week, Betsy Kreitzer, who had worked for Pape & Company. She passed away March 30th.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Sad news. Worked quite a bit with her. She did a lot of commercial work. So she did some commercial stuff for me, development stuff, because Pape & Company has been for the longest time the go-to on commercial stuff, on that stuff. And so,
Jonathan, it looks like Keith is going to win the bet against Neil Williamson.
Yeah.
The show on Friday was fantastic.
Yeah. I got accused of hedging my bet a little bit.
No, that was pretty clear cut, the bet you made, and they made it pretty clear you were going to win the bet.
No, somebody else unrelated to the bet
thought you were hedging?
Thought I was hedging.
Okay.
So my response to them was, well, I'm super flattered that you actually think I have enough to say.
I think Michael knew of the bet. I'm not sure Lloyd knew of the bet.
Well, he knows about the bet. I talked to him about it.
Okay, Michael definitely knew of the bet.
Yeah. He just was playing his litigator lawyer, not letting anybody.
The show archived at realtalkwithkeithsmith.com, Counselor Michael Payne and Mayor Lloyd Snook. Keith Smith, fantastic program, my friend.
Oh, look at that.
Flies when you're having fun.
Look, I love
two friends.
Absolutely,
Three friends.
I love
Liza.
4 friends.
4 friends. Yeah.
3 two-legged, 1 four-legged.
Liza's a dog.
By the way, I've got to remind me. I bought a new bones. They're in the truck. I've got to bring them in.
Liza's getting the hookup.
So rest of the week, kind of an easy week this week. More of this.
Nice.
Wednesday is. I got it.
Yeah, we got a viewer and listener.
We got a viewer and a listener that wants to come in. And Liza wants to say hi. So I tell you what, on that note, we're going to end and kind of move on. But on Friday, Easter Bunny might be here. We've got no guest on here. Easter Bunny might make an appearance potentially.
The Friday, the Easter Bunny is coming on the show?
It could happen.
What?
I can't promise.
Did you know this?
No, nobody knew it.
Okay.
The Easter Bunny and I are texting at the moment.
Okay, Easter Bunny on Friday.
The Easter Bunny could come in on Friday.
Real Talk with Keith Smith, where we talk sphincters, Easter bunnies,
sphincter valves,
real estate, the pursuit of happiness. Give Judah Wickower props and have a lot of fun. Keith Smith, guys, is a broadcaster and a realtor. It's a realtor.
First, broadcaster second.
He sells homes. Professionally.
I help people buy and sell homes for a living.
YesRealtyPartners.com.
Please.
Judah Wickower, the director of the I Love CVille show, is up in 1 hour, guys. Stay tuned.
Thanks, guys.
Well done. Very well done.
All right.